Okay, so we're doing something fun and different today. I'm recreating this picture due to a request I got recently. I'm basically just gonna wing it. I can kind of look at it and estimate how I want it to be or what I want to change. So yeah, this video would just be following along with me figuring it out basically. And I knew I needed my ruler because she gave me her measurements for her camera, but sometimes it's not always exact because not all cameras are flat. And for a physical reference, I'm going to be using my camera as a little guide. Something so funny is that I found a way better color match for this sleeve after I already finished it, and I was like, there's no way I start over. I don't want to annoy anyone with postponing the shipment times and stuff like that, and I thought that this was close enough to the point where it still looked fine. So the review is pending. Yeah, we're hoping that it's great, you know? Anywho, I also made a video about like how to crochet anything or how I make my own patterns, and this is a big tip for anybody who like really doesn't know anything about sizing. Most yarn will have a bit of a stretch to it, so if you're wearing your piece or putting something in it, be mindful of that. But to help give it that looser fit to ensure it'll work, despite not seeing the piece, I can up my hook size. Typically for these sleeves I go for a 5mm, but when I do the ones that are a little bit unsure of the measurements or they want a looser sleeve, I go up 0.5, so to a 5.5, and then I also chain like one or two more to add on. And in the picture I'm pretty sure those were half double crochets. And I also decided that I would work in rounds instead of making separate panels. Although I'm not sure what the person in the picture did because their sleeve looks pretty clean, like, you know, around the edges, and I feel like working in rounds, unless it's blocked or something, might have gave it more of like a rounded look rather than like the squared off vibe. But there's so many things or reasons why it could look different, like A, because there's a camera actually in it, or B, maybe a difference in stitches or a smaller hook size to just give it a cleaner look. I don't know. But yeah, this is the typical thinking process when it comes to recreating patterns. But my personal goal whenever I am recreating patterns isn't for a spitting image. But anyways, another trip back to my measuring tape. And now it's kind of hard to remember, but I believe she had a camera that was like 4.5 inches across. So the goal was to work in rounds and see where it got. And here it's about at like 4 inches, but the stretch is exactly where we need it to be because it would be bad if it was too big. But since I am working with a different hook size, it does help me to get that stretchier vibe going on, like I said earlier. And I don't know what I was doing when I was measuring it this way. Like, there's no way I thought that it needed to be that long. But anyway, trial and error. And then here we are a little while later. I ended up putting my actual camera inside, and I was like, it's time to stop here, I believe, because just as it stretches like horizontal, it'll stretch vertically too. So yeah, I was continuing to decide on if this was enough or not. I always am really picky about the case sizes. But finally I decided that this is pretty okay, and I was just gonna fasten off because now we have to make the flap. In our reference picture we can see that there's like a flap with a little strawberry on it. Looks really cute. And when you finally get back to the marked stitch, everything will be even because that's the beginning of the round. After fastening off, you need to reattach your yarn to add the flap. In the future, I definitely would say that I think adding like 2 extra stitches to the flap would be perfect. Just like the base, the flap is going to be half double crochets as well. And instead, I wanted the flap to be a little rounder and not really expand past the base. So I did the flap a little bit smaller and I rounded the edges. To me, it looks like they have like a single crochet border around everything to clean it up, but I didn't really want to mess with it much after this, so I just left the edges as they were. And we also had a few ends that I needed to clean up. I thought it would be really nice to add a closure method for the flap, so I went with some Velcro. And yeah, I was just working around with the placement to see, but this was clearly not in the middle. I just didn't know if I wanted to put the dot higher or lower because I don't have the camera that they have. I wanted to make sure that the flap was something that was an addition that would actually work. Because you know, sometimes flaps could be like too low, too high, if you get what I mean. So while I was counting in the possibility that her camera could be a little bit taller than mine, I put the second felt dot a little bit higher, and I also cut it into this little square because, I don't know, the double circle was just like a little obnoxious to me for some reason. And sometimes I don't really like how it sticks out of certain projects. In the future, like I might look into different color type of dots, like maybe they have like cute greens or something that would just match more and like look a little more hidden, but I don't really mind them. I didn't talk much about the mushroom lanyard, but that was a free gift that I decided to add in to give it a little more personality instead of just the case by itself. But I would say that this recreation turned out pretty cute. Overall, I'm decently happy with it, and I think I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to recreate.